Hello, friends. Steve here. It's good to breathe. Keeps you alive longer, depending on what you're breathing. Okay, I'm going to be reading from the book Attuned by Thomas Hubl. If I can get my finger out of the way, you can see it. Practicing interdependence to heal our trauma and our world. If you haven't figured it out by now, I'm very interested in the healing of trauma. It's been my focus in my life for the last 55 years and probably lifetimes before this. Just help people just get over it. Before I start reading the book, someone asked me in a comment, would I make a video about karma? And I just wrote them back a response to their question if I could make a video. And I said, well, karma to me relates, and I don't remember what I wrote, but it would have been something like this. Karma relates to unresolved experiences from the past showing up again. So if we have an experience and we completely integrate it as an experience, then it's just an experience. If we perceive it as being traumatic, unexpected, and it has a lot of energy attached to it, and we don't release that energy attached to it, then we're going to have that experience come up again and again until we release the energy of it, and that would be my perception of karma. Now, it's interesting that I wrote this, and then 2 days later, I think it was 2 days later approximately, I was reading the book by Thomas Hubl called Attuned. And he just had the statement, karma is postponed experience, which is basically what I think I said. I used more words. He got it really cut to the quick. Okay. Now, on page 67 of the book, which I suggest you get, and don't try to read it fast. Just go through a little bit at a time, because this fellow Thomas Hubl spent at least 4 years, if not 5, in a silent meditation. This way, discovering himself at the deepest level, and he's perceived by many to be a mystic, and I would perceive him that way myself. He's also a trauma therapist, which makes him magical mystic. So in the book, the section we're on, he's talking about rational mysticism. And so he talks about, in transparent communication, there are 2 facets to listening. The first requires that you make space within you to receive, not just to respond, but to receive the communication. And as you listen attentively to a colleague, friend, partner, or acquaintance, you can lend part of your attention to the condition of your inner space and what's happening there. How open and relaxed do you feel as you listen? So you can be doing this right now as I read these words to you about relational mysticism and transparent communication. So I'm communicating these words that are Thomas Hubl's words that were put on a page in this book based on his experience. And so he's talking about, when you're listening attentively, you can lend part of your attention to the condition of your inner space and what's happening there. And he asks the question, how open and relaxed do you feel as you listen? This is such a good question. Do you have room inside you to welcome their words and feelings? How much space do you have available for receiving their communication? What sensations show up inside you as you communicate? It is about taking in the other person's words and allowing yourself to be touched by what has been shared. Let's say you find yourself in disagreement with someone, perhaps even very strong disagreement. Does your sense of inner spaciousness shrink or contract? Do you feel yourself internally pushing back against or even blocking their words and intentions? Do you feel yourself becoming harder, more rigid? What emotions do you feel coming from the other person? In difficult conversations, there's often a closing down or separation that occurs. When that happens, the rest of the discussion can become like a ping pong match. Words are volleyed across a net, but feelings, ideas, and other perceptions are no longer shared and received. True listening requires open space and brings a quality of relaxation and openness forward. The deepest listener is awake consciousness. In other words, the deepest place in you that listens is pure awareness. This style of listening is a receptive and therefore feminine capacity. It allows you to take in and be touched by others, ideas, viewpoints, feelings, motivations, intentions, and life circumstances. At its root, deep listening is about receiving life with an open heart. Strengthening this capacity allows you to be more available to life and to respond from your authentic core. The ability to listen in this way unfolds as you open to greater stillness, presence, and emptiness. I think I'll leave the second facet of transparent communication for the next reading. May you find peace. And if you're already in peace, you are sharing that peace with all that you meet. And the more of us who find that peace and live from that place of peace, the more peace there is. Now let's go.